There is no place for you or your ignorant, hateful, and evil ideologies.
Described how a racist attack destroyed her family.
The Ku Klux Klan, or KKK, is a notorious white supremacist organization responsible for some of the most heinous crimes in American history, including racial violence, terrorism, and murder. Over the years, numerous KKK members have been convicted and sentenced to life in prison. These convictions and sentences consistently spark mixed reactions, ranging from relief among victims and their families to anger or denial among supporters of the convicted individuals. Peyton Gendron, an American white supremacist, committed a racially motivated mass shooting on May 14, 2022, at a Tops Friendly Market supermarket in Buffalo, New York. This act of domestic terrorism targeted black individuals. Gendron, who was 18 at the time, killed 10 people and injured 3 others, all of whom were black in predominantly African-American neighborhood.
I will hurt you so bad. You have made me sick. You got my family crying. I miss my sister every day.
He used a Bushmaster XM15 rifle, which was illegally modified, and even live-streamed part of the attack on Twitch before the platform shut down the feed after about 2 minutes. On the day of the shooting, he wore tactical gear and began shooting outside the supermarket. After entering the store, he continued the massacre until law enforcement arrived. He was apprehended without further violence, despite threatening to take his own life.
Do I hate you? No. Do I want you to die? No. I want you to stay alive. I want you to think about this every day of your life.
When Gendron was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, his reaction was marked by minimal visible emotion. During his hearing on February 15, 2023, the courtroom was filled with emotions as victims' families delivered powerful impact statements, expressing their grief, anger, and the devastating impact of his actions.
She was a beautiful girl. I have been profoundly changed.
Some family members even called him out directly. Gendron remained mostly silent and occasionally looked down. Later, he delivered a brief apology, acknowledging his guilt and expressing regret. "I did a terrible thing that day. I shot and killed people because they were black." He added he wished he could take it back.
An emotional day in court as a Minnesota mother described how a racist attack destroyed her family. Benton Bayer was stalked and harassed this Robbinsdale family.
Benton Bayer, a resident of Cold Spring, developed an obsession with the Robson family, a multiracial household living nearby. This fixation began after his girlfriend admitted to having an affair with a biracial man. Believing one of the Robinson's sons was involved with his ex-girlfriend, Bayer began targeting the family with racist harassment.
Incredibly hard to accept, we are a multiracial family, that someone would want to harm my husband, my kids, or me for simply being married to a black man, that level of hate exists.
In July 2021, he stole an SUV and rigged it using a large rock to hold down the accelerator, aiming the vehicle directed at the Robinson family house. After setting the SUV on a collision course, he fled the scene. The vehicle crashed into the house, causing significant damage. A particularly disturbing detail was the teddy bear with a noose tied around its neck found inside the car, underscoring the racial motivations behind his attack.
It could be worse than the impact your actions have had on my life and the life of my family.
Bayer was charged with multiple crimes, including stalking, second-degree assault, and theft of a motor vehicle. The jury found him guilty in September 2022. Throughout the trial, Bayer remained largely muted, showing no significant emotional response.
They affected the Robinson family and home, and for that I'm sorry. I hope they forgive me and go on living their lives peacefully.
His defense had previously pushed for a lesser sentence due to his troubled background. Bayer's sentence of nearly 9 years was upheld. Despite his sentence, some community members expressed frustration, believing his punishment was not harsh enough given the premeditated nature of his crime and the psychological trauma inflicted on the family.
And the former Inkster police officer seen on video brutally beating up a driver is making his bid for release.
William Melendez, a former police officer with the Inkster Police Department in Michigan, was involved in a high-profile case where he assaulted Floyd Dent during a traffic stop in January 2015. Dent was stopped for allegedly disregarding a stop sign, but dashcam footage showed Melendez delivering 16 punches to Dent's head while he was restrained.
I'm truly sorry that you believe my actions were unjust. Please have faith in your law enforcement officers, for many of them would risk their life for yours.
Dent sustained serious injuries, including broken ribs and bleeding in the brain. Following an investigation, Melendez was charged with assault and misconduct in office. In November 2016, a jury found him guilty on both counts. In March 2017, he was sentenced to 13 months to 10 years in prison. During his sentencing, Melendez remained stoic, showing little emotional response as the judge condemned his actions. Despite testimonies praising his prior conduct, Judge Evans emphasized the violent nature of the assault.
I would have thought this. What crime did I commit? Being a black man in a Cadillac, stopped for a minor traffic offense by a group of racist police officers looking to do a
criticizing his use of dirty Harry tactics.
Take your mask off and debate! That's why I'm here! This is my soapbox!
Jeremy Christensen, known for his involvement in a tragic incident on May 26, 2017, fatally stabbed 2 men and injured a third on a Max Light Rail train in Portland, Oregon. This act followed a verbal attack in which he directed racist and anti-Muslim slurs at 2 black teenage girls, one of whom was wearing a hijab. Witnesses reported that his tirade included threats and derogatory remarks, which escalated to violence when he confronted fellow passengers.
You're on video basing me, liar, liar, liar. You're not the only black person on Max, liar, manufacturing hate crimes, you liar.
Christian's crimes included the murders of 2 individuals, both of whom tried to protect the girls from his harassment. A third victim survived but sustained serious injuries. Christian was charged with multiple counts, including murder, attempted murder, and hate crime assault. During the high-profile trial that culminated in February 2020, Christian was found guilty on all counts. On June 24, 2020, he was sentenced to life in prison without parole, receiving a true life sentence for the 2 murder counts to run consecutively.
And enduring this for 2 years, how much longer do we have to endure this kind of torture in our lives to keep this going on?
The trial featured emotional testimonies from victims and witnesses. Throughout the proceedings, Christian exhibited multiple outbursts and disrespectful behavior towards victims and witnesses. Initially, he displayed a lack of remorse and engaged in confrontational interactions, even shouting profanities and boasting about his identity as a Nazi. His behavior escalated when Demetria Hester, whom he had threatened a day before the stabbings, testified. Christian yelled at her and made threatening gestures, prompting Judge Cheryl Albrecht to order his removal from the courtroom. Afterward, Christian stated he had forfeited his right to remain present. If you want to learn more about the most ridiculous courtroom moments of all time, then visit our channel for more.